Good morning, YouTube. Watch your negative self talk. Those tapes that play in our head, we usually have at least one thing that we repeatedly say over and over to ourselves. I'm not good enough. I'm a bad parent. I'm too old. I'm ugly. I'm fat. Um, no one will love me. The list goes on and on. And we say them over and over and over to ourselves. We wouldn't dare say this type of thing to someone else because we wouldn't want to tear down their self-esteem. When we say those things to ourselves in our head, it does exactly that. It tears down your self-esteem, and you live up to the expectation that you set for yourself, of yourself. You fall in line and believe and act in order to meet that expectation. You believe you're a bad parent, and the guilt that weighs on you of that causes you to feel emotionally drained, even more so, and you can put out even less towards your children. If you feel that you're ugly, fat, worthless, and unattractive, the emotional burden of that causes you to have less energy, less motivation, less will to bother to care about yourself. And it all comes back to feeling not good enough. When you have those tapes in your head that play over and over and over, the first is to have the insight enough to identify what that tape is for you, and then to find a counteractive statement. Because just because you think it or feel it and say it repetitively to yourself doesn't make it true. You can choose what to think. So identify what that tape is for you. Find an alternative. I'm doing the best that I can. I'm worthwhile. I get better every day. I'm strong. I'm beautiful. I'm intelligent. I'm growing. Whatever you need to say to yourself that's going to be a counter statement to that negative thought. And whenever that negative thought comes trailing in your head, consciously decide not to let it play out and the old tape play along and you repeat the pattern in your life according to the tape and get the same emotionality, the same heaviness and burden that you carry again and again and again and again, and your actions meet up with those burdens that we carry. Instead, interject, consciously interject, override that tape with your positive statement. And it may feel silly at first. You may find it hard to believe because you've drilled the other one, not because the negative one is true, but because you've drilled it into your head so hard by repeating it so often and telling yourself so many times. Through repetition, we learn that this is true, that it's automatically believed to be true doesn't mean that it's true. So it's going to feel silly. It's going to feel awkward. It's going to feel like you're lying to yourself to say the positive thing. But continuing to interject and to interrupt that pattern of thought will eventually begin to interrupt your pattern of activity, and you will fall more in line with the type of behavior, the type of person, the type of statement that you're making. And you will feel more legitimate in saying it because it's not untrue. You are good enough. You are trying. You are getting better. You are beautiful. You are worthy. You are these things. You've just been telling yourself otherwise so long. It's like being in an unhealthy, toxic, abusive relationship with yourself that you've begun to believe your own nonsense, your own demeaning. And you need to repetitively, consciously decide to counteract those statements with the positive statement again and again and again and again, habitually, till you override those old tapes and stop the pattern. And hopefully in time, you will begin to believe it so much so that you stop some of the patterns of behavior that result from those overburdened emotions, from believing such negative things about yourself and talking down to yourself. It's the same kind of pain as if someone else were doing it to you when you do it to yourself. You want to build yourself up, and you do that by interjecting, consciously interjecting a better thing to think. You make the decision and you think the better thing, and you do it over and over and over and over again every day until those old tapes shut up. Love you guys. Have a good day. Bye.